So, Joe, our feature segment today, we're talking all about goals and strategy.
Yes,
which is
very important.
Very important topic, you're right. And we talk about goal and strategy a lot. We often say, oh, what's your goal? You've got to have a strategy, blah, blah, blah. So I thought maybe we should talk a little bit about it in a bit more detail this time and go into that whole concept of setting goals and having a strategy. So to me, like, when it comes to property investing, you need to have a goal. Like, what is it you're trying to achieve? When are you looking to achieve, and how are you looking to achieve it? And to me, the strategy part, the goal is what and when, and the strategy part is how.
Yeah.
That's how I see it in my head.
Yeah.
How about you? What do you think?
I think I agree with you on your definition, and I think it's important to have a strategy because that's the part that is the execution part. Otherwise, it just stays a dream,
Yep.
So, and the strategy, it basically tells you how you're going to achieve what your goal is. And if you don't have one, you've got no direction. So you might have a great goal, but how are you actually physically going to do it and execute it?
Yep. And so having a strategy is important, obviously, for direction. But are there anything else, any other reasons why you think a strategy is important for someone to think through?
Heaps of reasons, really. Lifestyle reasons, like will it work with your current, with your family and your work commitments? If you know what your strategy is, you can follow it through to the end and think, hang on a minute, is this actually going to work? For instance, like, will I be able to get finance for, this certain strategy? What will it mean for my, my time in the future? Like, will I be working, or, will I be able to afford to do this, or, all that sort of stuff along the track. If you flesh it out properly, you can see it's actually, I thought I could do it this way, but actually having thought about it in detail, I realise I won't be able to get the funding for that, or I won't have the time for that, or it means I won't be able to do this with our family that we want to do, or whatever it might be.
Yeah. And I think strategy, for me, one of the reasons why it's important is it makes people get a bit more realistic about what they're saying. Like, we say, set a goal and don't limit yourself and think big and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But when you actually go, okay, well, so now that's my goal, is to make $7 million in 3 months.
Yeah.
Exactly how am I planning on achieving that?
Yeah. Yeah.
It really makes you see whether your goals are realistic.
Yes.
Yeah.
It does.
Bit of a sanity check, maybe.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. And to me, the other thing I wanted to point out around strategy and just the fact of having one is don't get too attached to things. It's really important to map things out, to set goals, to work out how you're going to do it. But to me, your strategy, like your life, is dynamic. It changes and it evolves. It's a bit of a work in progress. And just as an example of that, about, maybe, how long is it now? About a year and a half, or maybe a year and a half ago, I flew down to Melbourne for a property conference. And it was a fantastic conference I went to, and there was lots of goal setting and lots of talking about your dreams and how you're going to get to them, and mapping out a plan for the next year and 3 years and 5 years and all that sort of stuff. And I was pumped, and it was awesome, and this is what I'm going to do, and this is how I'm going to do it. And then I lost my job.
Yeah.
And suddenly, like, all those properties I was going to purchase with the bank's funding kind of went out the window.
Yep.
And that was really interesting. I mean, it was a massive, massive big deal, because that whole strategy that I'd come up with was just not going to work and not going to be feasible anymore.
Yeah.
And so you just can't, just go, well, I'm going to throw in the towel now with this property investing thing because something's changed in my life. You just have to flex and pivot, as they say.
Yeah.
And come up with, okay, well, under these circumstances, I'm going to review my goals and my strategy and change direction a little, which is what I did. And I'm still, as you know, the buyer's agency has just gone gangbusters, and I'm buying property. So, a year and a half ago, I thought, wow, no bank finance. What am I going to do now? So,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I think you're right. It's like having the strategy is like having your roadmap, but when something like that happens, you've still got your goal that you're trying to get to, but you've just got to find another route.
Yeah.
and it might be completely different way than you were thought you were going to do it, but you end up at the same spot, but you're just doing it a different way, and you just got to keep a bit of an open mind, I think.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, the take home out of that little discussion there is that you need a strategy, you need goals, you need a strategy, but you need to be continually reassessing to ensure that it's relevant, and you need to be flexible to changes required.